Well, you can practice yoga for 10 years, attend classes every week, learn difficult poses, build a strong, flexible body. Some of you may even started teaching. I mean, that's an obvious outcome. If you have done a teacher training, have done some formal training, you start teaching eventually, right? And in all of that time, through all of that practice, you may never have entered what yoga actually is. Well, this is not a criticism. It is the most honest thing I can say to a serious practitioner. Because asana, the physical practice, most people call yoga as it is taught in the vast majority of studios and online platforms today, is actually a physical culture. It is excellent physical culture though, but it is not a yogic practice. And the difference between these two things is not small. It is the difference between a very good workout and a genuine inner science. Let me be precise about what I mean, because I'm not dismissing what happens or what's being taught in most yoga classes. When you attend a typical yoga class, whether it's called vinyasa, power yoga, hot yoga, or even alignment based or therapeutic anger style practice, it's all fine. You're getting something real and valuable. You're moving your body intelligently. You are developing strength, flexibility, proprioception, and coordination. You are probably breathing a little bit better than you do in the rest of your day. You are in a space that asks something of you physically and holds a certain atmosphere. Well, this is not nothing. This is definitely something. This is genuinely a good physical culture. The question is not whether it has value. The question is what it is actually doing. And the honest answer for most modern asana practice is that it is training the body. It is not training the practitioner in the way yoga was designed to do. Here is how you can recognize physical culture yoga. The orientation is external. Well, the primary question is, does this pose look right? Am I hitting the correct alignment points? Can I go much deeper into my practice? Can I hold this pose much longer or more accurately? The teaching is often cueing what the body should look like. The student is often checking in mirrors, looking at other students, tracking the shape of the pose from outside. Well, this is usual things, right? There's nothing wrong with this as a physical culture. The problem is when it is called yoga and nothing further is offered, because the student then believes that they are practicing yoga when they are practicing something that borrows yoga's vocabulary and forms while leaving its essential framework entirely untouched or unexplored. And most practitioners, sincere, committed, intelligent practitioners, spend years in this gap without anyone naming it for them. What is asana actually designed to do? Well, that's a very valid question, and that too in its original understanding, right? The Yoga Sutras of Patanjali give us a definition of asana that has almost nothing to do with what most people practice nowadays. Sthiram, sukham, asanam. A posture that is steady and comfortable. That is it. That is the entire instruction. No mention of flexibility, no mention of advanced shapes, no mention of how the body looks from outside. What the text is pointing at is this asana is a training in the quality of attention, right? Or it is not. The physical form, the particular shape the body takes, is a vehicle. It is a container for a specific inner work. The work is about developing the capacity to be fully present with sensation, awareness, within effort, within discomfort, without the mind fragmenting, bracing, or escaping, to hold something steadily, not with force, but with organized and relaxed attention. When asana is practiced this way, something very specific happens. The breath begins to organize itself around the practice rather than being incidental to it. The nervous system begins to respond differently to challenge, not with reactivity, but with a kind of a steady inquiry. The quality of attention basically available to the practitioner outside the practice begins to change. They find they can remain present under pressure in ways they could not before. Not because they stretch more, but because they train their attention. Asana in the yogic sense is also working with what the tradition calls prana, or the vital force. That's the vital force that animates the body and underlies all psychological function. When asana is practiced with correct breath work, awareness, and genuine inner attention, it organizes and refines the pranic body in ways that prepare the practitioner for pranayama, for meditation, for deeper stages of the yogic path. None of this happens automatically just because you are in a yoga pose, right? It requires a fundamentally different orientation, I would say. Not what does this look like? You don't ask this question at all. How does my asana look like? But what is happening inside? Not can I go deeper, but am I present? Not I'm doing this correctly by external standards, but what is my breath doing? What is my attention doing? And what is the quality of steadiness I'm witnessing to myself? That shift from external to internal is not a small adjustment. It's a completely different practice. I want to give you something very practical, something you can take back to your next practice session and actually use. Here are the 3 signs that your asana practice is still a physical culture. You can actually identify yourself, and also you will find out that why it has not yet become a yogic practice. Sign 1, your primary focus during practice is what the pose looks like. You are constantly moving your body, try to adjust, and you are losing the breath, not what it feels like from inside. If you find yourself adjusting your position based on how it appears rather than how it registers inwardly, if the mirror matters more than your internal experience, your attention is still primarily external, know that you're not doing it right. Yogic asana asks you to close the feedback loop with the outside and open it with the inside. The pose becomes information about your inner state, not a shape to achieve. Well, sign 2, your breath is incidental to your practice. It is something that happens while you do asana, not something that asana is organized around. Genuine yoga practice, the breath is not a background event. It is a primary channel actually. The pose is held in service of the breath, its depth, its smoothness, its freedom, its flow. If your breath is restricted, shallow, broken, held, or probably simply unattended during your asana practice, something essential is definitely missing then. Not because someone told you to breathe, but because without the breath, the pranic work of asana cannot begin to start with. Sign number 3, you feel physically better after practice, but not noticeably steadier, calmer, or more inwardly collected. This is perhaps the most revealing sign. Physical culture makes the body more stronger, more energized, more toned, and that is good. But yogic asana practice, as yogic asana, does something additional. If it changes the quality of your inner state, then it has worked. The practitioners who have made the shift describe it not as feeling more flexible, but as feeling more like themselves, something from within which is shifting. They feel more settled, they feel more present. The practice carries into the rest of the day in a way that is not physical. That residue, that quality is a signature of a true practice actually. So I want to say something based on my experience and my practice for years. What actually changes when a practitioner makes that shift? Because it is not what most people expect. It does not look different from outside. Someone watching your practice will not see a transformation. You will not necessarily be doing more difficult poses. You may actually be doing the most simplest ones, maybe meditative postures or sitting postures. You know, this change is not really visible, it is entirely interior, and that is precisely what makes it so significant. You know, what changes is the relationship between you and the practice, something you do to your body, something you show up for and complete. It becomes something that you enter. There is a quality of going inward that becomes available. The practice starts to reveal things about the state of your nervous system as well, about what you hold, about what your breath does under different kinds of challenge, about the quality of attention on any given day. So I have watched this shift happen in my students and myself, and it is not dramatic. There is no single moment, but at some point the student stops asking, am I doing this right? That's the most important indication. And starts asking, what is actually happening here? And from that moment, the practice becomes genuinely yogic. What is also worth knowing is this, that this shift is not reserved for advanced practitioners. It can happen with beginners or intermediate students as well. And I've seen students with beautiful, technically advanced practices, on the contrary, who have not made it. So the sophistication of the form has almost nothing to do with it. What it requires is a change in orientation, and very often it requires someone to name it, to say there's an interior dimension here that you practice has not yet entered, and this is what it looks like. That is in many ways the conversation I'm most interested in having, whether that is through content like this, through training, or through a direct consultation. The inquiry is the same. What is your practice actually cultivating, and what change it is bringing upon you, and is there more available to you than you are currently accessing? So if anything I have said today resonates with you, if you have sensed somewhere in your practice that something is present but not yet accessed, I would invite you to take that seriously, because that sense is not imagination. It is the practice beginning to ask something more of you. Well, the link below will take you to the information about how we can work together directly through my courses, through my trainings online and residential in North Goa. Whether you are a practitioner wanting to deepen your practice, a teacher wanting to bring more genuine yogic understanding into what you offer and when you teach to others, or someone who has simply never had this conversation before. So this is where to start. I will see you in the next video then. Hope you liked it. If you did, then do not forget to like and share, and also subscribe my channel for future notifications. And I'll see you in the next video. Namaste.